Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode number 10 of Spectator Mode. This would have been episode 11, but we were preempted last week due to a bunch of comic book nerds nerdgasming over Avengers Endgame. Now that that's out of the way, we're back. So joining me on the line is the ringleader of that nerdgasm, Mr. Keith Mitchell. What's going on, Keith?
I saw that movie 3 times. Thank you very much. I am proud to say that I'm a nerd, and I will always be Captain America or Team Cap until I die. Or somebody pays me a shit ton of money, and then I'll be Team Iron Man.
I'm Team something because I don't read comic books. I read the Japanese equivalent. It's called manga. They're great.
Potato, tomato, whatever floats your boat.
Indeed. So yeah, we're kind of flying in a 2-seated plane here this week. Diego is taking an exam, and Carl is probably sleeping in at 10 o'clock in the morning over in Australia, so we wouldn't want to wake him from his beauty sleep. So it's just going to be you and me today, Keith, talking about a couple of interesting things that happened. But first, as custom here on Spectator Mode, what have you been playing this week?
You go first.
Uh-oh, that ain't a good sign. Either you don't have anything and you're trying to scramble for something to think about, or this is going to be really good.
No. Actually, remember I said right before we started, my daughter is going to call me, and she just called me, and I'm trying to text her and tell her. No,
well, there you go. All right, so this week I have been playing some more Mortal Kombat 11. I know the patch just dropped for that, which supposedly fixed the Towers of Time. However, I did not actually spend any time in there just yet, mainly because I got a free 500,000 coins from Netherrealm as a way of saying sorry for the screw-up. So I spent a couple of hours going through the crypt, unlocking stuff, getting a whole bunch of consumables in preparation for the Towers of Time, unlocking new areas, refilling my coins by doing so, unlocking more chests, etc., etc. So I got to say, just from a scale standpoint, the crypt is really huge. There's a lot of stuff to be discovered in there, a lot of things which will keep you coming back. They said they fixed the rewards in there. I didn't really see much of a difference because I was still getting the same crap I was getting before, which was more consumables, open up a chest for like 7,000 coins and see a whole bunch of like concept art or just random pieces of artwork I don't really care about. I did get some skins along the way, did get the forge unlocked, the whole donate coins, and hopefully you get something good. Shrine unlocked, got the souls unlocked, and I spent 2,000 souls on a bridge, which kind of was cool because you could see like the Mortal Kombat 2 stage in the background where Blaze
wait. So the iconic bridge is back again?
Yeah, it's back. And I get to the end of the bridge expecting to go to a whole new section, and it's just a heart chest locked behind a gate, and I didn't have any more keys to open the gate, and even if I did, I didn't have 200 hearts to open the chest anyway. So yeah, I spent 2,000 souls on a bridge which led to virtually nothing.
So basically somebody sold you a bridge.
Yeah, I got sold a bridge for
I finally met somebody who bought a bridge. There you go.
Yeah, that could have been 20 soul chests I could have opened, or actually was it 200? No, 20. I can't do math. Something like that. I could have opened a whole bunch of them. But instead I bought a bridge, which led to nothing. But
yeah, well, at least you're enjoying yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the crypt is pretty big. It makes you spend a whole bunch of coins. I can see how it'll keep you playing and coming back. But probably this weekend I'll dive into the Towers of Time and check that out and see how much nerfed they are and if the consumables are even worth it. I mean, I think that some of the consumables which used to like reduce the effects just flat out disable them now. So I'll have to see how that works and all that fun stuff. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Also been playing some more Hearthstone. Fell in love with a secret paladin, which also transitions to like a robo paladin deck. So it's been really fun to play. Currently 13-4 with that deck, so pretty good win rate so far. And aside from that, I haven't been playing anything else. So yeah, your turn, Keith.
Honestly, I haven't been playing much, if anything, this week. I was playing an indie roguelike game similar to Dark Souls called Dark Devotion for the past since Saturday for a review, and wrapped that up. And I've only been playing a little bit of the Division on and off, Division 2 on and off. Excuse me, mainly because I'm also beta testing insider versions of Windows 10. And I was fighting through an issue the other day where the updated version of Windows 10 was not compatible with the Division 2. So while I'm sitting here fighting, trying to figure out why my game's not working, and I'm thinking it might be the Division 2, it turns out it was actually Windows. So I emailed, Microsoft, and I emailed the developers of the anti-cheat for Division 2, and they came back and was like, oh yeah, it's not compatible. So this comes off the fact that I had just rebuilt my machine because it crapped out on me a couple of days ago. So I had to spend another night redoing my machine again because the rollback from the updated insider versions didn't work. So I spent more time this week playing a game for a review and then redoing my machine instead of playing something that I really, really wanted to play, which was the Division 2. So in short, I didn't play a lot of anything. This weekend, I will tell you that I will be picking up World War Z because I'm tired of everybody talking about it and I really want to play it myself. And I probably will pick up Starlink now that it's available for the PC just to see what it's about. So that's about it.
All right. So speaking of games, I know you've been heavily into Sekiro. I've been, begging, or not really begging, but bugging you about the world records from QTT 6.
Yeah, I mean, like every freaking day.
Yeah, you got another one actually today.
I don't care.
Yep. All NG memories and all beads. 1 hour, 22 minutes, and 26 seconds this time.
I mean, I know how people like speedruns. I know you enjoy a good speedrun. I just never saw the purpose of running through a game as fast as you can just to say, hey, I did it. The part of playing the game is the journey, is the adventure. And speedrunning just blows all that out of the water.
Yeah, but it's about seeing the technique. It's about seeing all the strategies implied, seeing what glitches people can find. It's kind of interesting in its own right. I mean, yeah, I understand games are built to be enjoyed at a slow pace sometimes, but to see something just get completely wrecked and destroyed is also fun. At least for me, it is.
Yeah, sometimes I can see that. I do remember watching some people play through Dark Souls 3 and completely wreck that, and I tried it a couple of times, and then I stopped when they started using exploits, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. You gotta stop and do this, and then get somebody to hit you in a certain place, then quit the game, then come back in, and you'll be falling to the like, nah, I'm done. I'm not doing all that crap.
To each their own. That's all I can say. So I got some news topics this week.
Their own.
Yeah. To each their own. Some news topics. First one. Epic Games announced that they have purchased Psyonix, and well, the internet is kind of pissed about that because they have been throwing some review bombs out there, and yeah, it's not exactly pretty. So Rocket League obviously is a very popular game. Epic wanted it, they got it via way of Psyonix, and now people are just taking out their frustration for no reason by giving Rocket League a whole bunch of shit in the form of review bombs. Yeah, it's just the internet being stupid again. I don't think review bombs are a way to actually get your voices across. There are much better ways to do that. But this is just really, I don't think it's really accomplishing anything because everybody knows how good of a game Rocket League is. They're going to look at a review and see it's complete and total trash, and they're just going to see someone's pissed off. They're not going to really take that review seriously, and they're just going to ignore it. If it was a brand new game, maybe it could have had some effect, but if you have a game like Rocket League that's established, review bombing is not going to do you anything. It's just going to make you look like an idiot, and
pretty much.
Yeah, I don't see a point to it.
Yeah, and that's something that I said today in an article I wrote. You can check it out at the Outerhaven. Shameless plug, I know. I know a lot of people are frustrated with the fact that Psyonix pretty much, and I'm doing air quotes here, sold out to Epic Games. I know a lot of people are still very invested in this whole Epic Games Store versus Steam situation. And I bowed out of that a while ago. I think it's childish. I think it's immature. The only issue I have with Epic Games Store is the fact that they're missing a lot of features. They're missing regional pricing, and that they're too expensive sometimes. But they're working on it. I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. When it comes to this whole review bombing thing on a game that has done amazing, has sold thousands and thousands of copies, a game that people talk about all the time, a game that helped bridge the cross-platform gaming scene. and then you're going to review bomb it because your paintings are in a bunch. That's just ridiculous. And it just goes to show that you're very immature, and it gives people the ammo to say, hey, PC gamers are crap, PC gamers are stupid, PC gamers don't know what they're talking about, which really hurts me because I am a big PC gamer. I prefer to play my games on the PC. I don't see the sale as a bad thing for Psyonix because for the longest time, they were known as a small team. Sure, they put out small updates here and there, but they never really could do what they wanted to do because they needed the capital. They have that now. Epic Games now owns them, and will own them soon. And they will have the money to do what they want to do. They'll have the ability to give us bigger updates, do more with the game, maybe even position Rocket League as an actual serious esports game, which it really isn't right now. It's kind of a joke when you think about it when it comes to esports. And I think it's great. As for Epic Games, you guys have heard me before say I'm not a fan of their tactics. I don't like how they're like, we're going to buy exclusives. We're going to force Steam to drop their prices or the revenue split. I'm not a fan of that. But I will say that if anybody can push this game to a higher or lofty, I don't want to say expectations, but get it to a higher plateau, it's them. They've done it with Fortnite. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't do anything great for Rocket League. The only problem that I have, and I said this in our chat when we thought about this sale, was, are they going to pull this game from Steam? And I think a lot of people had the same question. Everybody was doubting that it's time it's time on Steam what's going to be any longer than the rest of this year. And Epic Games has been very secretive about this. The only thing they said is that the game will be supported on Steam once it comes to the Epic Games Store. But they never said officially that they're going to pull the game from Steam. I don't know if they're just waiting for the internet to keep going apeshit, or if they're just looking at the waters to see how many people are going to get upset about this, or maybe they just don't know. We were talking about this amongst ourselves before about that.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the apprehension because Epic Games has been making a lot of moves as of late to get a lot of exclusive titles for the Epic Games Store.
You mean money hatting?
Yeah, but not every title there is exclusive. So there's nothing right now saying that Rocket League is going to be exclusive to Epic Games Store and get pulled off of Steam. So there are such things as non-exclusives on the store, and I'm pretty sure Rocket League is going to be one of them.
But here's the problem with that. Epic Games has been known to actually do that. We're not talking about like the Discover Cheese, the Division 2 or Metro. Well, Division 2 is not going to be sold on Steam at all, ever. There's no time exclusive. It's just never happening. Metro, I think they said will come to Steam eventually, and a handful of other games that they pay for time exclusivity will come to Steam. But there have been a handful of games that were on Steam for years and are never coming back. The biggest one is the Walking Dead collection. Ever since Telltale Games went under, Epic Games injected some money into them to help them finish the final season. And I'm not sure how this works exactly, but all the games that were on Steam were pulled. They're no longer for sale on Steam. And that's kind of the problem because it's the same situation. They were available on Steam for the longest time, and now they're gone. Rocket League has been on Steam since 2015, to the first release. And there's a possibility that game could get pulled and it's only accessible for people who actually have the game now. Which, here's the problem. Here's the main problem that I'm having. This is what I can't process. If you take this game and you put it on your gaming store, but other people have access to it, it's not exclusive to your store. You get what I'm saying? Other people still have it. Only people can buy it from your store. But the question now is, are you going to throw a wrench in like cross-platform play? Is there going to be some problem with people who are on Steam playing people who are EGS now? Or what exactly is going to happen? And these are the questions that everybody is asking, and Epic Games is just sitting there going, we don't know. I mean, I contacted them and they never got back to me, but The Verge contacted them, Polygon contacted them, Variety contacted them that I know of, and nobody has gotten a reply back.
I mean, can they actually do that? I mean, would it really be considered cross-platform because it's all on PC? I mean, you're just getting the source from a different place. I mean, the servers are still going to be the same no matter what, right?
I would say that is rational thinking and logical thinking, but then I'll make you think back to Killer Instinct. Before cross-platform play came in, it was available for PC via Steam, or I'm sorry, via Microsoft, and then when it came to Steam, they were on the same PC.
In order to do that, they would actually have to move it off the current servers onto one of Epic's and then block access. But then how would people on Steam who already have the game access it? Would they just lose access at that point?
Bingo. There you go. There's the problem. And a lot of people that are in the Epic's game camp are saying, oh, that's not possible. That can't happen. And I'm like, but it has happened. There have been games on the PC that had been on one storefront and not accessible to people on another storefront. So this could be another game that does the same thing. There's the problem. I could care less that Epic has it. Look at Minecraft. Microsoft owns Minecraft, and they put it on every damn platform on the face of this planet. They don't care. They're getting money from you. You get to play the game, and that should be it. And that's exactly the same point I argue with these people on the internet, including some of the bigger names and some of these bigger gaming websites. My point was, why would you rip something from a store where the game is already established? And their reply was, because they're in the business to make money. It don't even make sense. And I'm like, but if you're selling on another storefront, you're still making money. Of course, that person will reply back to me.
Yeah. Speaking of Minecraft, thanks to Microsoft, rest in peace is Notch's relevance to that game. Oh, but then again, he did it to himself, didn't he?
He became a bigot and an asshat, and he deserved it. But he was like that. He was like that before he sold the game. But people put up with it because the game. Now that he's not relevant, see it, bye. Who cares?
He's got his money. He doesn't care.
Just getting back to this real quick, I really hope that Epic Games comes out and announces what they ultimately plan to do so people stop getting upset. They own the game. There's really nothing anybody can do. You can only hope that Epic and the board and Tim Sweeney get their heads out of their ass and realize that you're fighting an uphill battle. You're trying to rewrite history, for lack of a better word. You're trying to change something that Steam and Valve have almost single-handedly created because nobody took PC gaming seriously until Steam got to the big picture. And Steam has never been a monopoly because if they were, they wouldn't allow other stores like GOG or Humble Bundle to sell the same games that are on the storefront. Steam, Valve has never done that with the exception of games that they've created themselves.
Yeah, I actually remember the day when Steam launched, and I just sat there and laughed at that. I'm like, what the hell is this shit?
It was
and now Gabe Newell's laughing at me from his fucking Scrooge McDuck tower.
They were not good days. I remember oh man, it was years. But we all needed it for Half-Life 2. We needed it. And everybody wanted to play Half-Life 2. We just needed it. And it wasn't very good back then, but look at it now.
Yep, and because of Steam, like I said, we now have the Epic Game Store. We've got Ubisoft with their own store. We've got Origin. We've got just store after store after store out there now. That's all trying to be Steam.
And people don't realize it. This came from the rise of Steam. And a lot of people are like, you're just pro Steam. No, I'm not pro Steam. I'm telling you, this is what happened. Trust me. I remember the days when you bought a PC game, you had to go to the freaking book to find a certain phrase so you can play the damn game. Because they were like, what is word on page 3, paragraph 2? I'm like, oh, those days sucked. Let's not go back to those, please.
Yeah, if you try that in this day and age, you just find a digital PDF and then find the word that's highlighted.
Or get it cracked.
Or just basically put it on a website on GameFAQs or something like that.
Pretty much. That DRM is now gone. But yeah, I hope that this plays out in a way that it's beneficial for all gamers. I don't want to see Rocket League get kicked to the curb because of this. And I don't want to see any more idiots, because that's what you are, review bombing a game because you're frustrated. Go yell at Epic. go talk to Psyonix. Go talk to them. Don't start pissing on the game because you're mad. The game didn't do anything. It didn't touch you in the wrong place. Stop. I'm done.
Okay. All right. So one last thing on that. Just to echo what Keith said. Yeah, don't review bomb stuff. I mean, honestly, we get it. It's the internet. We can't see your face. You're anonymous. And the only thing that you get to do is, put your fingers to the keyboard and push a whole bunch of letters and form some sentences. And no one's going to do anything about it because they can't. Just because that's possible, doesn't mean you're going to be some sort of internet warrior. You're not. You're an idiot. Find a better way to, get your message across. Like Keith said, go to Psyonix. Tell them you're unhappy about it. Go to Epic. Tell them you're unhappy about it. If enough people, complain directly to Epic, it might actually just change things. Look at the Sonic movie, for example.
Look at the Sonic movie, for example.
We're not going to get into that because I'm pretty sure every internet website in the world, plus Twitter, plus social media outlet, whatever, has pretty much said everything we're going to say. But yeah, voices to the right people can change things. And that's all I'm going to say on that.
And don't use the wrong music in a trailer.
Yeah, don't use Gangsta's Paradise. Use Amish Paradise instead. Weird Al, we thank you.
Oh, gosh, that's even worse. Jesus.
All right, so essentially, speaking of internet news sites and all that stuff, reviews have been kind of targeted ever since a certain website by the name of Polygon tried to play Doom and failed miserably at it. And now a lot of is being called into question because of that. And what's being called into question is, should reviewers be good at video games or should they just be knowledgeable? And that's the kind of weird thing, because whenever I review a game, personally, I know I'm not going to be great at it unless it's a series I've been following for a very long time. Then again, I don't really record footage, but still, when I think of a review, I think of someone telling another person about how the gameplay works, how good the story is without doing any type of spoilers whatsoever. Are the controls responsive? Are the controls intuitive? Do the graphics look nice? Does the sound good? Everything about the game, suspend your disbelief, and does it immerse you in the world that you're playing? And if you can convey that message across, then you are basically giving an unbiased review that might influence someone else to pick up the game or decide this is not my cup of tea and I'm just going to wait for something else to catch my eye. That's basically, in my mind, the point of a review. If you're doing video footage, then I think the video footage itself should reflect those main points of the review, and it shouldn't matter how good you really are to a point. Now, if you're just going to be able to record yourself dying over and over again, missing the target, and just not getting to the point where you can actually match up the footage to convey your thoughts, then you probably shouldn't be doing a video review of a game. I think they do go hand in hand, but I don't believe by any means necessary you need to be some sort of like Evo level expert at a video game to do a review. But I think you should be at least competent enough to play at a level to reflect what you're going to say in your review. What do you think about that, Keith?
I agree. I think that reviewers are actually put in a tough place only because there's a misconception here that all reviewers have to be good at a game. That's not the case. And I will say something, the way that we operate here, you only get access to a game if A, you ask for that game, or we know that it's a game that you want to play. We're not going to give somebody like Josh example. We'll say, Josh, we need you to play the latest racing game. I know Josh can look at it and go, I'm not going to play that game. Because Josh, I know, doesn't like racing games. Just
actually, you'd be wrong about that.
You said you didn't. What? Okay, you don't like Microsoft racing games. You don't like. You don't have an Xbox.
Well, I'll say this: I do enjoy racing games, but I like more arcadey style racing games, like, for example, Mario Kart, F-Zero. Which, by the way, Nintendo, where the hell's a new F-Zero? Come on,
right? I've been asking for this since the damn Wii.
I've actually enjoyed. Back on the old N64, Cruising USA and Cruising World.
San Francisco mother effing rush.
Yeah, I actually played that one as well. Those are kind of games I enjoy, but once you get into like, realistic handling and all other shit, I lose interest because I want more of a faster paced action game like Extreme G. That was an absolutely beautiful series on N64. They tried their best to mimic it on PlayStation 2, and it did a pretty good job. XGRA was just, well, an attempt, but it didn't really capture the nostalgia.
What about
Wipeout? That was an amazing game, but those are the kind of racers I like. But you're right. If it's for offering me something like Forza or Gran Turismo or something like that, I'm probably not going to pick it up.
But see, and that's how we get to operate. I understand that every organization has that, which is why we do what we do here. But I agree with Josh is saying. I've been asked many times when I do a review, how do I actually do a review? And I pretty much do my reviews as if I'm trying to sell you on the notion of playing this game. Graphics are nice, but they're not important. Gameplay is very important. You don't have to be awesome at it, but you need to be able to understand how to do a jump, how to do certain moves, how to play the game, not die over and over constantly, unless you're playing Dark Souls or something. When I totally understand that. Story, audio is important. You must be able to know about the audio, if it sounds good, if there's audio mixing, if the sound effects do their job, or the cues in the game that pushes you on, that helps you learn as you play, or are they important online, but things that you would tell a friend if you were talking about a game. It doesn't mean that you're the best at this game, because we've seen influencers play games online and they suck at those games. We've seen reviewers do the same thing. We've seen many streamers try to fight, go through a boss or something, try to get to a level on a brand new game, and they can't do it. People that review games are human, which means they are fallible. Doesn't mean that they have to be the best. As long as they're trying and they're not just throwing their hands in the air or ignoring basic concepts like, hey, there's a wall, you need the wall jump, and they're just pushing forward. Yeah, I can give them that. The whole polygon thing, I wish it would die because it's just a bad example, but it's on the internet, and once something's on the internet, it just never goes away. There have been worse things out there. I still remember the one issue where the gentleman, Dean, was playing Cuphead and couldn't get off the tutorial level because of that one special jump. And it's commonplace. You'll see videos or hear people talking about reviewers or people that are in media that are supposed to be guys at games, when the realization is they're just like you and me. They can be terrible at games, but if they are able to understand the notions of the game, if they're knowledgeable about the game and are able to convey a rational review to inform you about this game, then great. I will listen to your video review. I will read your review. But if you're somebody that I know for a fact has zero idea what this game is about, and you're trying to sell me the idea of this game, I'm not going to even pay attention to you. Just like any review. Just like somebody did a review a couple days ago. What was that game? What was it? No, it wasn't a game. Somebody was talking about Endgame. And they said something. I'm not going to drop any spoilers. They said something, and I was like, but the movie totally did that. What are you talking about? And I talked to the guy on Twitter, and I was like, I was reading your review, and the moment I got to this section, I realized you had no idea what you were talking about, so I just stopped. And he thanked me because I was being honest. He's like, I don't agree with you. Which is also something about a review. Reviews are subjective. Or I'm sorry, they're objective. You can say, I don't agree with what you said or wrote.
So here's a follow-up question to this whole topic. Do you think reviewers are actually pressured to get reviews out as quickly as possible, thus not allowing themselves to get enough time?
I'm not even going to let you finish. Yes.
All right. You already know exactly where I'm going.
Yes. That's the nature of the beast, unfortunately. We've had that happen to us sometimes. The issue is people want to know about a game, and they turn to these sites or these online personalities, and they want to see if they have a review up. And sometimes they will throw all caution to the wind, and they will work on trying to get a review out as quick as possible, which doesn't always work out that way. They leave out important aspects. They don't talk about online. There might be a patch that fixes something, and they never go back to address it. So a lot of this, though, is also the fault of the company providing the game or PR, because they're like, well, if we don't see a good review or we don't get a review in a couple of days, you're never going to hear from us again. And that's on the mind of everybody. They want free games. They want access to a game. They want to be able to stream the game or talk about the game ahead of time and be the first person out there so they can get those clicks and make that money. It's a perpetual cycle that it's never going to stop. But yeah, I do believe that reviewers and journalists and influencers are pressured to get a review out as quickly as possible. Yes.
Yeah, and of course it all falls back to the game studio too, because obviously games are not cheap to make. I mean, some games cost anywhere between $500,000 to upwards of $1 million, if not more, to make. And when that day one drops, that's obviously going to be the biggest day for them for sales, aside from any type of holiday deal. So obviously, they do want reviews out there. They do want influencers saying all the right things about the game so they can recoup their money. It's a business move. That's all it is.
Yeah, pretty much is. Like I said, it's the nature of the industry. And like I said before, it's never going to change. I would like for it to happen. I would like for people to actually sit back and work on reviews a little longer to flesh them out, because sometimes you can read a review and you can see that the person clearly rushed to it, or they missed out on something that is what is the word I'm looking for? Something that is very obvious, but they missed it in the first place. Like, this game allows you to do this, this, and this, and you can't do this. I would love to see you be able to do this. And you go back and you play the game, you're like, but this is totally in the game. What are you talking about? And then that's when you lose all credibility to me. If I can do something or the game plays differently than what you say, not because of you suck at the game, but if you're saying the basic gameplay isn't like it is, and I'm playing it and I'm saying, hey, it's completely different than what you're saying, I don't want to listen to you anymore. I'm done, because my notion is you have no idea what the hell you're talking.
Remember the good old days when reviewers actually took time to do, reviews because their magazine's only published once a month?
Yeah, there's a lot of that. That is a big thing now that we're in the digital age. But also, there are just more and more organizations out there, like ourselves. We fight with the big people. And the smaller people like ourselves, that we don't do that. We don't rush games out. We don't do that. No. We will sit on it and wait. But there are people that get these codes and they feel pressured that they have to do this because they want the clicks. And if they don't get the clicks, they won't get those things anymore. So like I said, it's a perpetual cycle. Unfortunately, I don't see it ending. It's bad. It really is bad. And it does injustice to a lot of games. 40, 50-hour games that you just got a code for the other day, you've already finished it. So in my mind, I need to play the game for as long as possible. Then I need to give it a day or two for it to stew, for me to process what I'm going to say as I'm writing this review. Because I can tell you, when I do a review on a game, I write 2,000-3,000 word essays on a review, and then I have to go back and clean them up because there's just way too much stuff there.
Well, so do I.
And that's the thing. But my problem is, and I'm pretty sure you're the same boat, I want to tell you as much information about what I'm reviewing as possible. And sometimes it's overload.
Yeah, it's the same thing with my anime and manga reviews that I do. Like, when I was actually doing the reviews for Indie April with some of the independent light novels, someone even mentioned to me on Twitter, says, "Damn, your reviews are about as long as a novel itself," because most people will just write 4 or 5 paragraphs and give their general thoughts, and 4 or 5 paragraphs for me is just the story section, and I break down characters and give overall thoughts, and I go really in depth with my stuff. And it's because of exactly what you say. Is I want to give people as much information as possible without really spoiling much, so they have not only a sense that I actually read it and enjoyed it, or I have enough information to make points of why I disliked it, but they also have enough information to generate interest in getting it themselves. And
one of my peeves, not to cut you off, one of my peeves is the person that commented you. I don't want to give you a short review. I don't want to give you a 3-4 paragraph review, which I've seen many people do, because I feel it does not do justice. There is no game on this face of this planet that you can beat normally, Josh, not speedruns, that you can beat within a couple hours, unless they're made that way. Most games are at least 6 to 7 hours. And 4 paragraphs or 5 paragraphs does not do the game justice. No way in hell. No way in hell.
Definitely. And I mean, when you're doing the review, obviously you want to get your point across, and sometimes it can come across a little long-winded. I mean, hell, I'm a podcaster, I'm a writer, I'm a published author. I kind of make myself long-winded on purpose because I like describing things, but at the same time, it, like I said before, it really shows that you've took in the material, whether it's a game or a book or something like that, whatever it is, and you put your time and effort into focusing on it, and you're regurgitating that stuff into coherent thoughts. And that in itself, I believe, is really comprehensive. It gets the point across. It sells stuff because now you're presenting whoever's reading the review with more information than they thought they could possibly get.
Yep.
And it really makes you look like a professional because you actually took the time to put your focus and attention on it versus, like you said, spending 6 to 7 hours on a game and then saying, oh, the game was good, graphics look good, gameplay was tight, you should pick it up. The end.
Josh, I swear to God, I am not kidding you. When I see those kind of reviews, I just go, why? Why do they keep doing this? It's like you're actually trying to make me so freaking angry because it's, in my mind, it's wrong. It's wrong. People are depending on you to give them a knowledgeable and a competent review. And you go, oh, this game is fun. I liked how the controls are. I think it's a fun game to buy. What? What is that? What is that? We should have talked about this. Now I'm all frustrated.
Yeah. I guess I won't even mention the fact that you see a review like that and you find out it's actually provided for review by...
Oh my God, stop!
Accept it.
Stop. Yes, stop. Yeah, that happens a lot too.
I guess to some companies, any press is good press, right?
Oh my God, Josh, you hit the nail on the head. But it shouldn't be that way. Value your product. Value it. It's no joke. It's not a lie. It's not trying to oversell us. When we get a review code, we get anything for review, it's like, oh my God, thank you. We love you so much. Not like that though, but we want to do a good
platonic.
job. Yeah, we want to do a good job. We want to show you that you didn't make a mistake by providing access to us. Not that we're kissing up or sucking up, because nobody does that. We don't do that. That's never happening. But it's that you acknowledge that we do a good job, that we do good work, and that you respect us enough to do something great or something worthwhile with your stuff.
Yep, and I have proof that the long-winded reviews work because I've actually even gotten compliments from some of the companies I do reviews for that the editors there actually really enjoy reading my stuff. So, it pays off. You actually get noticed for your work.
Oh yeah, it definitely does. I will echo that. I've had a couple really liked this review, and I was like, well, I hated it. I will be the first to say that, I don't always agree with my reviews. I think they're good, but as a creator, and I know Josh is in the same position, I kind of want them to do more. I don't know. I guess you're never happy with your end product. You want it to do something more.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with my books. I'm never happy with the way they're, finished, but people read them, they enjoy them, and I'm like, oh, I guess I did well and better than I thought, so go me. Yay.
Pretty much.
Now I'll just go back to writing the next one and hating myself even more for it. Cycle continues.
The cycle continues. The circle of life. Oh, now you got to sing the Lion King. Anywho, I think we've dabbled enough on this one. Let's talk about this next one. This one is really frustrating.
Yeah, so earlier I talked about Mortal Kombat 11. I talked about the Towers of Time and playing through the crypt and all that fun stuff, but on the flip side, no one really thinks what went into making that game. As big as the crypt is, as in-depth as the fighting system is, as amazing as the tutorial is, the game modes are, etc., how did it actually get there? And the story has been all over the internet about former people who are brought on to Netherrealm Studios to develop, some of their games, some of them being Injustice, some of them being Mortal Kombat, about how they were treated, how they were paid very little, how they were in basically crunch time for almost 10 months straight, and some of them even let go before the product was even completed, because it's like, yep, well, we got our usage out of you, don't need you anymore, bye.
Bye-bye.
And yeah, it really painted Netherrealm into kind of a negative light. And before I actually get my thoughts on that, I just want to preface my little rant here that I do not condone this type of behavior. I'm just basically explaining it from what I've learned in college when I got my degree in game design. It's that crunch time is going to happen no matter what. And I know that's a controversial topic because people are upset that developers are getting pushed to the limits, working 90, 100 hours a week for months on end just to push a game out because the publisher said, hey, we got all this money invested into you. You better put this out, otherwise you're in breach of contract and all that fun other electronic legal bullshit. But it happens. It happens in virtually any company that is not its own publisher. And even still, when you're your own publisher, you still have probably more money than you know what to do with, and you want to make more of it. So you're going to be just like if you're in a contract between developer and publisher, you're going to try and push it out as fast as possible. So be that as it may, it's an inevitability for any game company. People wish it's going to change, and it's something that people, unfortunately, I don't say have to accept, but have to understand it's going to be a part of game design for pretty much a long time, unless something drastically changes. And I think we even dabbled on this in the past episode, or maybe I was in like a, I don't know, discussion somewhere. But the question came, was like, what has to change for this stuff to stop? And we couldn't really find an answer that would actually be beneficial in the long run to keep the same level of quality going, as far as like, you know, games coming out, staying on schedule, blah, blah, blah.
I can answer that. I can answer that question.
Okay, go for it then.
Pretty much, it's basically giving the developer as much time as possible to develop this game by not providing a release window. Stuff that you would think that Rockstar wouldn't have done, because they usually don't give you a release date, or their games are so freaking long that they take years to come out. But yet, Rockstar is also a company that was mentioned as one of these companies that give you hellish work hours. But if there's no real rush to get this game out, if a developer is giving more than enough time to work on this game and the publisher is okay with it's done when it's done, I think that would actually go a long way. Unions would also go a long way, because that way you couldn't just treat your workers like crap. But there is no union, and that's a big issue.
But you said the three magic words, if the publisher. And that's the thing. Some of them are cool like that. I mean, I have seen games delayed because they wanted to get the quality, you know, better. They wanted more time to polish things out, and the publisher was perfectly fine with that. Unfortunately, the most recent case with that was that the developer and the publisher were the same company, and that was Square Enix with Final Fantasy 15. But it's very rare when that happens. But most of the time, if the publisher doesn't exactly apply, because the publisher is an American business living in a corporate environment in a capitalist country, and they understand things such as quarterly results, stock shares, investments. They have all these other influencers coming into them, and they have a target time window which will be beneficial to them and their bottom line at the most peak and most optimal time. And come hell or high water, you have to meet it.
Oh,
and
I
that is
agree.
the unfortunate side of things.
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I think that's an answer, but applying that is a completely different thing. If there's no way to enforce that, or like you said, when the bottom line is, I need this done, I need it done now, I have a date to meet, it has to be up for Christmas, it has to be up for summer. It's crunch time, and unfortunately, these people get treated like slaves. That's exactly how they're treated, like slaves. Low pay, long hours. You can't take off, or you get ridiculed or fired, or possibly worse. You might have an idea that might work for a game, then somebody might take that idea and say, hey, I did this. I'm thinking of that meme on the internet. I made this, and then somebody crosses out, no, I made this, which is what happened with Mortal Kombat. It's a bad situation all the way around, and the stuff that's coming out from Netherrealm and Rockstar and these other companies, This is not new. We've heard about this stuff happening for years and years, and you always hear somebody go, something needs to be done about this. This needs to stop. And everybody throws their hands in the air and starts raising pitchforks. And then eventually everybody forgets about it until it happens again. Like right now.
Yeah, and obviously there are better ways to handle crunch time, and there are some companies that are aware that it's unavoidable, and they do everything they can to help their employees through it. And I want to say it was Blizzard Entertainment who did this, and obviously this is before the whole Activision merger 9 years ago, but they talked about how they would always during crunch time, like almost every day, order out for lunch, basically based on what the consensus was, or maybe they'll go out of the way and, order something that a specific team member wants. They'll bring masseuses into the actual studio to massage them and give them, pampered treatment. It would actually make crunch time as bearable as possible, knowing full well that it's an inevitability that has to happen. And they basically compensate their employees, rather well after the fact, because once crunch time is over, they would send them on a nice little vacation for a few months where they don't have to work and still get paid for it. So there's also a reward at the end of the tunnel too. And if you're in a situation where crunch time is unavoidable, that's kind of the way to do it. But then again, you also have to have the money to do that. And Blizzard is obviously a company that has enough money to be able to afford that. Netherrealm wasn't in that position a while ago when they split from Midway, but needless to say, after a few Mortal Kombats and Injustice and some other things, they have quite a bit of money right now. I'm pretty sure they could afford a few masseuses, or to cater out, or to send their employees on a vacation once everything's all said and done, or at least do something nice for them to make things more bearable. There's no need to come down with the whip and treat them exactly as you said, like they're slaves, or even fire people before the game's even done, so they can't even enjoy the celebration that the product's complete at the end of all their hard work.
Yeah, it's crap. It's definitely crap. Companies need to realize that the people that are doing this job, they are not slaves. They're not people. They're not disposable people that you can just do with as you want or as you will, because everybody has a soul. Everybody has feelings. And everybody wants to be treated as an equal. And these companies, they need to realize that this is exactly what they should be doing. Now, everything that you just mentioned, if I came into a situation, they came and they had a meeting, conference call, whatever, and they said, hey, look, we're coming into crunch time. These are hours that are going to come down. We will take care of you. We'll send you on your merry way, vacation, whatever, once this is done. But for the next couple months, this is crunch time. Okay, great. I understand this one needs to be done. I need to tell my wife or my husband or my kids or my friends, look, I'm going to be spending extra time in the office because of this. But once this is all taken care of, everything's going to be fine. You'll see me a lot more. There'll be a less stress. And I think that would go over more so than work these hours. If you don't work these hours, we're going to fire your ass, or you're not going to have a job, or we're not going to pay you. Talk to the people. Explain what's happening. Become better with the HR and the PR, and not just the people that are developing a game, the people that are waiting for this game. Hey, if you got to delay a game, hey, look, guys, cold shit. We don't like the way it looks. We're delaying the game. Sorry. Great. Transparency is awesome. Okay, we understand. Thanks.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, not at all.
But hey, what do I know?
I mean, it's kind of a double-edged sword when you think about it. And obviously, we can come up with answers to solve this problem all night long, but whether or not in the kind of economy-driven society that we live in, will those answers actually ever get applied remains to be seen, because it's such a simple solution, but it's only in theory. In practicality, it's not so simple.
Yeah, I agree. 100%. It's up to the companies to decide if that's something they want to do, and the investors, the people that drive the bottom line, unfortunately.
Yep.
It still sucks the way they treat people. I don't know. I've read those reports, and I would have been like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm done. Bye.
And people wonder why there's so many independent game studios popping up, because they're eventually going to be in full control of themselves. And well, sometimes you make it, and sometimes you just end up underneath the EA umbrella.
And you think about that, right? Because there's just so many people that are like, we're forming our own company. And you're like, where did this company come from? We're made of people that were from this studio, this studio, this studio. Oh.
Like Second Dinner, for example.
And you look it up like, hey, these guys used to be at these big companies. Why'd they leave? Oh. Okay, now I know why they left.
Yeah, we didn't like the working conditions there, so we formed our own company, and now we just got bought out by a big company, and we're back to the same working conditions. Well, time to leave and go form another company.
Yeah, their perpetual cycle of game. Unfortunately, you can't wait for them to come out for game. What are they working on again? I saw it. What was that game?
What, Second Dinner?
Yeah,
they're working on some sort of mobile game with NetEase and Marvel.
Yeah, you weren't too thrilled when they said Marvel, though. I remember that part.
Yeah, but a prime example of what we're just talking about is Brad McQuaid, who's working on Pantheon. Obviously, he started off, heading up EverQuest, and then Sony came to him and they were like, "Hey, how'd you like to become a project manager / producer for all of our IP titles, including EverQuest 2 and PlanetSide 2 and all this other good stuff?" And Brad was like, "Sure." And then he realized that he was spending more time, pointing fingers and giving directions and actually having his fingers in the development side of things and seeing things fleshed out his way. So he left. And then, the people who got bought up by Sony Verant decided to create Vanguard Saga of Heroes. Well, Brad had a vision. He tried to make that vision come to life, and he ran out of money. And guess who came to save him? Sony. And guess what happened? Sony pointed a finger and said, "Hey, I don't care if your game isn't ready. Get Vanguard out the door right now." And that's what happened. It launched terribly. And yes, to their credit, they fixed it. And it lasted for 7 years before it died out. And Brad learned his lesson. And now with Visionary Realms and Pantheon Rise and the Fallen, he had taken all those lessons. And he went to them and he said, "I will do this, but we're doing it my way." And my way means crowdfunding, finding investors who share my vision and don't want to push the game out for profit, and allow us to do what we want to do to this game and develop it and take as long as we want. And so far, it's working. And let's hope it stays that way.
I really want Pantheon to do well. I don't
have
any reason. I don't see. I mean, I'm not invested in the game as much as you are, but I have been following it. So far, I think they're doing everything right. And I love the transparency they're having with the community, though. That is amazing stuff. And they're listening to the feedback. And they're showing the builds. And they're letting people know this is what's happening. Hey, this didn't work out as well as we thought it was going to. So we're now doing this.
And like every day or every other day, they're on Twitter asking the community for feedback about certain scenarios. And it was back on April 25th. Even though they have nothing ready for Project Fairtale to show us, they still went and did a stream with Co-Carnage just to show off Hell Near Cave, which basically turned out to be an eye-opener because we got to see a boss fight in its full entirety, which we hadn't seen before. We got to see the new lighting system they put in place. We saw some higher res models and textures. So even though we were seeing repeat content, we actually saw something new. And then they were nice enough to tease us with some new effects. Like they showed off a cool lightning effect and how sometimes if you're like in a zone with this red viscous substance on the ground, if the lightning hits it, it'll scatter into like a random pattern and freeze that way. And it'll be different every single time. And you can even go over to where it hit and there might be something for you to pick up, like an item or something at the bottom of that pool that was revealed by a random lightning strike that just happened to hit.
So wait, randomly. So basically dynamic events.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
So they showed that off, and then they showed like this, concept model for something, and we all are trying to guess at what it is. I personally think it's the boss encounter that they're working on for Project Fairtale, which is going to be the world outside boss encounter that's going to manipulate the atmosphere and bring like weather effects into the battle. I think that was the boss they were showing. That's my theory. I obviously don't know if I'm right or not, but hey, that's the beauty of opinions. Everyone gets to have one, whether it's right or
Speculation
wrong.
is great. Speculation for a game is always fun because you
is.
never know what exactly is going to happen. And everybody could be possibly right. Everybody could be completely off base, but you never know. And it also shows the developers that you're engaged, that you're really peaked, you're looking forward to this. And they can just tease the hell out of you. Or they can have something in place and then go, hey, that guy has a better idea than what we have. And use your idea.
Indeed.
I think we got off topic, but
yeah, I was about to say we kind of trailed off there. But the whole point was Brian McQuaid went through the pain of working for a publisher that basically wanted to push out a stingy or a crappy product, I should say, and he decided to form his own studio, or not really form his own studio, but he went to go work for Visionary Realms to do it his way and finally escape that. But that's what we were talking about with Second Dinner, how they left Blizzard Entertainment because they saw the writing on the wall with the Activision acquisition and all that stuff, and how they're changing the insides of the company. So they left. And then obviously, we got Netherrealm Studios over here treating people like crap, and crunch time is another, people are getting overworked and underpaid situation. And, sometimes people might, take that as their wake-up call like Brad did and, go find a way to do things their way. Just like, what Ben Brode did with Second Dinner. So, sometimes I hate to say it's a necessary evil to get people to get pushed in the right direction, but it could be a motivating factor. I mean, that could be an upside to it.
It sounds like an abusive relationship. That's the best way I can put the two together. In an abusive relationship, you either let them keep abusing your ass or you say, I'm done and I'm gone. It kind of is an abusive relationship. Now that you think about it.
Yeah, kind of is.
Well,
so with that being said, that brings us to the end of the show this week. Any final thoughts, Keith?
Oh man, I'm just frustrated for those people at NetherRealm and everywhere. They're all game development, not just game development. Everywhere that people are stuck in a situation where they don't see a way out of, and unfortunately, sometimes there isn't. As far as any thoughts, we never finished. We cut into our topic earlier too fast. We were going to talk about games we're looking forward to for this month, but we jumped into the other topic. So I want to say I'm looking forward to Rage 2. I wasn't really expecting much, but I've been following the game, watching the videos, and they're actually making the game turn into something that's going to be a journey, an amazing journey, and one that wasn't on my radar, but is now. So I'm looking forward to that, 100%.
Yeah, for me, I don't think there's anything coming out in May that I'm interested in. Then again, I'm thankful for that because I'm still working on all the games I bought over the past few months, so I got plenty to keep me busy.
Oh yeah, that backlog is strong. It is strong.
I still have to, get back on the Division 2 and finish that because I'm still level 8.
Dude, I freaking hit level 30 and then hit tier 5 last night. So, yeah, you do. Because I'm playing by myself.
It's funny because when we started off, I started off and I hit level 8 and you hadn't even begun yet. And now you're tier 5, level 30, and I'm still level 8.
The raids are going to be starting soon, man. The raids. I really want to raid in that game so much. I miss raiding. I miss it. I don't miss Warcraft, but I miss the whole getting people together to accomplish a common goal. I miss that in the loots.
Yeah. I'll have to find some time. I'll eventually get back to it. I don't know when, but I'll eventually get back to it.
Maybe I'll, once Pantheon comes out, I can get back into some sci-fi mystical struggles with raiding. But right now, the only game is Warcraft or Final Fantasy, and I'm done with Warcraft and Final Fantasy. It's like, nah.
That'd be like the worst situation to ever happen, is that I finally get through all my backlog of games. I go to log on to Division 2, and all of a sudden Pantheon's like, hey, alpha.
Yeah. When is that alpha? I know that's off quite a ways, right?
It was supposed to be last year, but the whole Project Fairfield thing happened, and they pushed it back, and now they're aiming towards a pre-alpha 5, and then alpha is still a question mark now.
Alpha number 5.
Pretty much.
All right, cool. Well, once again, everybody, thank you for watching. I also want to say quick, we hit over 200,000 unique visitors for the month of April, so that's amazing. Thank you very much to the people that follow the site, people that check out our content. Wish you would talk to us a lot more, but it's cool that you're at least checking out our stuff. Josh, I thought it was a milestone, but you said it's the second time we've done that.
Yeah.
So that's really good, guys. We're
it was, I
more in
want
May.
to say December of 2017 is when we actually hit our first 200,000. I could be
Okay,
wrong, but I want to say that was December 2017.
So, but we did it again. That's great. We're working on giving you guys more great content, working on a bunch of other stuff, also stuff to get you guys to see us more, like search engine optimization and all that fun stuff. A lot of hard work, but a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so very much for all your continued support. And once again, thank you for listening to Spectator Mode for another week. I am JJ Piedra for Keith Mitchell saying Godspeed to all you out there in Radio Land. Peace.